God of War Ragnarok goes in-depth on combat with new gameplay. The latest trailers of God of War Ragnarok came during the September State of Play. The excellent 3-minute story trailer features fresh combat footage and new looks at Kratos, Atreus, and much of the supporting cast, including Tyr, Thor, Freya, Giant Wolf Skull and Hati, and Odinson. God of War Ragnarok, which takes place a few years after God of War 2018. Kratos and Atreus must journey to each of the 9 realms in search of answers as Asgardian forces prepare for a prophesied battle that will end the world. Along the way they will explore stunning, mythical landscapes, and face fearsome enemies in the form of Norse gods and monsters. The threat of Ragnarok, the final destruction of the world, grows ever closer. Kratos and Atreus must choose between their own safety and the safety of the realms. 2018's God of War is set well after the events of the original God of War trilogy and takes our hero Kratos from the world of Greek mythology into the Norse. The game opens with Kratos and his son Atreus preparing a funeral for Faye, Kratos' second wife and Atreus' mother. Following an unforgettable fight sequence with the stranger, later revealed to be Baldur, the Norse god of light, Kratos and Atreus embark on a journey to fulfill Faye's final wish, to have her ashes scattered from the top of the highest mountain in the realms. And so begins the duo's journey. Kratos and Atreus encounter, and often fight, mythical creatures and gods from Norse mythology, all the while exploring their own interpersonal drama, namely Kratos' shortcomings as a father and his hidden identity as a half-god that he's chosen to hide in an effort to move on from the atrocities he committed over the course of the previous God of War games. Aiding Kratos and Atreus on their quest is Freya, who we come to find out is herself a goddess and the mother of Baldur, with whom she shares a complicated relationship, to put it mildly. Kratos intervenes in their familial spat, killing Baldur to save Freya against her will. As a result, she vows to rain down every agony, every violation imaginable, upon Kratos, setting her up as one of the 2 main antagonists in Ragnarok. Kratos reveals his past to Atreus, after which they ascend the mountain and complete their quest by spreading Frey's ashes. Atop the mountain, they also discover the Jotnar giants had foreseen their entire journey, and Kratos glimpses a mural of what may be yet to come, a dying Kratos being held by Atreus, a snake coming out of the latter's mouth. In one final reveal, we learn Atreus is, in fact, the trickster god Loki. A post-credits sequence then sets up Ragnarok's other main antagonist, Thor. God of War Ragnarok's release date is just a week away now, and during the build-up to that launch, God of War fans have gotten yet another trailer showing off more gameplay. This time, the latest trailer was focused on combat and enemies, 2 elements which make up some of the prime reasons people play these sorts of games outside of the story and Kratos himself. Details about Kratos' new shields and how he uses his Blades of Chaos in this sequel were discussed among other interesting combat insights. A proper trailer for God of War Ragnarok at the PlayStation Showcase 2021 that gave us gameplay and cinematic footage of what we'll be faced with when it releases. The combat looks just as devastatingly violent as we'd expect, and the new announcement also confirmed that we will indeed be facing Ragnarok, a series of events and catastrophes that ultimately lead to the end of the world according to Norse mythology. The trailer below shared by PlayStation this week shows Kratos and Atreus returning to Alfheim, the home of the elves, to show off their combat prowess. We see Kratos whipping around his Blades of Chaos and tossing the Leviathan axe while Atreus assists him in skirmishes. Thought the developers pointed out that Atreus works a bit more autonomously in this game due to his age and experience when compared to his first appearance in God of War. The armors, weapons, and the runes that you can upgrade your weapons with feel quite familiar as well. So, if you've played the first game, then you'll not have any problems or mysteries. You'll know exactly what you're doing and what to look out for. So, it looks like the only upgrade that the sequel's gameplay will have is the intensity of brutality and a few additional moves and perks. Other than that, there will be no significant changes when it comes to God of War Ragnarok's gameplay. Now, this might be okay for some, but a few gamers might be a little disappointed. However, those who want to experience a new story and explore new areas using familiar gameplay mechanics will absolutely love this sequel, as it is essentially a continuation of God of War 2018. For those Blades of Chaos specifically, they were only accessible towards the very end of God of War, which made it so that a familiar part of the God of War formula was locked away for the majority of the game. Now that Kratos is ready to use them again, Sony Santa Monica hopes players will enjoy the return of things like the Blades of Chaos grapple move, which, based on what's seen in the trailer, can be used to close the distance on enemies and can also be used to reach high ledges. The new shields Kratos uses also made an appearance once more in the trailer. As indicated by previous previews of the God of War Ragnarok arsenal, one shield focuses more on parries while the other is centered on blocking attacks and absorbing damage. God of War Ragnarok won't just expand on Atreus and Kratos' relationship, it'll also expand in terms of setting. This time around, players are going to be able to visit all 9 realms, including the previously unreachable Vanaheim, Svartalfheim, and Asgard, as well as to new areas from locations featured in the last game. Exploring the realms will take you everywhere from verdant, otherworldly jungles to intricate subterranean mining networks. Chief among these new realms is Asgard, the home of the Aesir gods and the seat of power in Norse mythology. In many ways, it's the largest and central realm of them all, where the most well-known Aesir gods live. It's divided into several regions of its own. Valhalla is ruled over by Odin, so we could end up entering the Golden Hall. Bilskirnir, meanwhile, serves as the seat of Thor, who's already confirmed to be appearing in the game. There are still some questions, including how much of these realms we'll see. It's likely we'll get to explore a new area of Midgard, and maybe even return to Kratos' woodland home. We're hoping we can delve into Muspelheim and Niflheim more than the first game allowed. As far as gameplay is concerned, it's pretty natural that God of War Ragnarok's combat will be of utmost importance to many fans of the series. According to a post on the official PlayStation blog in September 2021, combat will be more visceral and include spectacular fights, with new attack abilities, a new runic summon for Atreus, and of course, the return of Kratos' legendary weapons. Santa Monica Studio says it's taken learnings from 2018's God of War to improve combat, with the aim of creating more player choice. Whether it's through hard-hitting combos, a mastery of elements, or clever defensive tactics, you will find plenty of opportunity to fight alongside our duo in a way that feels uniquely expressive. In an interview with Game Informer in August 2022, lead combat designers Mihir Sheth and Denny Ye said that the combat revolves around the idea that Kratos plays with his food. Sheth said that the team tried to create systems you want to engage with that are fun, very playful, lots of different routes. And when we looked at the combat in the last game, as part of that, the previously underutilized triangle button has been given a new purpose. The button is getting a whole new set of attacks called weapon signature moves. Depending on whether you've got the Leviathan axe or the Blades of Chaos equipped, Kratos will infuse the sharpened steel with ice or fire to use extra damage elemental moves called Frost Awaken and Whiplash. Ragnarok will also offer players a little more variety when it comes to the shields that can be used, according to director Eric Williams, in an interview with God of War YouTuber John Ford. When Ford pointed out that in a recent trailer there are moments where it looks like Kratos' Guardian shield has a different design and Kratos is using it in different ways, Williams said this was true and that while he didn't want to go too deep on it, the game will have different shields, and they have different defensive options and abilities. The reason for this, William explained, is because he and the team at Santa Monica Studio really want to open up expressive choice to the way that you build your Kratos, like the equipment and loadout and things like that. This, Williams added, goes all the way down to the defense, so you can kind of play a little differently and enemies know how to respond to that, or force you into these different situations where you need to use different things. I think it'll be fun for players to explore that, but also we want it to be more expressive. You know, your choices matter when you set him up. Santa Monica Studio has also revealed that God of War Ragnarok retains accessibility features from God of War 2018, and adds new ones, allowing for more than 60 ways for players to adjust gameplay. Not only have we redesigned our UI to allow for more flexibility and readability, but we have also rebuilt controller remapping from the ground up and added more customization to our combat and interaction systems, a PlayStation blog post revealed. Some of the new accessibility features include improvements to subtitles and captions, an abundance of text and icon size options, and a new high-color contrast mode. Sony Santa Monica has confirmed via a tweet, opens a new tab, that the photo mode for God of War Ragnarok will not be available at launch. No release date was given. Ahead of the release of God of War Ragnarok, Sony has revealed a special, limited edition DualSense controller. In a blog post, PlayStation describes the two-tone controller as being inspired by the Norse world of Midgard, further embellished with bear and wolf insignia, representing Kratos and Atreus. After the player outrage surrounding the confusing upgrade process for Horizon Forbidden West, Sony issued a statement detailing how it will allow players to upgrade from the PS4 version to the PS5 version of future titles. It specifically name-checked God of War and said that you'll need to pay a $10 digital fee to get the enhanced PS5 version of the game if you already own the PS4 version. Now that the game's additions have been confirmed, we know that the upgrade fee does indeed apply to God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok is an upcoming action-adventure video game developed by Santa Monica Studio and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It is scheduled to be released worldwide on November 9, 2022. God of War 2018. Based on Norse mythology, the game will be set in ancient Scandinavia and feature series protagonist Kratos and his teenage son Atreus. Serving as the finale to the Norse era of the series, the game will cover Ragnarok, a series of events that bring about the end of days, and depicts the deaths of some of the Norse gods, which was foretold to happen in the previous game after Kratos killed Baldur. Recent reports claim that God of War Ragnarok is 40 hours long. The main story of the game will run for 20 hours, with 16.5 hours of gameplay and 3.5 hours of cutscenes. Besides these, the game will feature 20 hours of side quests, with 19 hours of gameplay and 1 hour of cutscenes. This means there will be a lot of places to explore, characters to meet, and enemies to fight in God of War Ragnarok. The game is expected to have well-designed environments to showcase the 9 realms of Norse mythology alongside an action-packed story that will keep you hooked. God of War Ragnarok is set to release on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 from November 9, 2022. If you have any questions regarding God of War Ragnarok, feel free to ask in the comments below. For more content, stay tuned. As usual, like, subscribe and share our videos, as we here are trying to build a community of people. As always, thank you for watching our content here.
It seems that we're out of time.